No, I'ma put it down like that. I'm leaving, I ain't coming back. You don't like the way I act anyway.
Good morning. Welcome to my kitchen. I love it. Guys, this love thing, you know, being 30 and single. I'm super excited to start my 30s, just fresh in this new house. I want to manifest love. I'm not a master manifester. I am just trying. I've been reading these books. I've only manifested one thing. Well, I feel like I'm probably manifesting all the time, but one thing that I can see big that I have manifested is my house. And I have made a video here about that if you want to check it out. I really started reading these self-help manifestation books in fall 2019. It's so interesting to see the people who can just do it so effortlessly and just manifest and everything. I'm like, well, what about the people who are trying? What about the people who just started? And so that's me. So I'm excited to share the story about how I think I met my husband. And I say I think because I don't know, because again, I'm not the most intuitive as I would like to be. But I've seen a lot of signs. I've seen a lot of serendipitous moments that make me feel like I've met him.
Anyway, you really don't have to.
So I was in a relationship from November 2018 to probably around November 2019. In fall 2019, he and I were very on and off. That's when I started reading my self-help books. Like when I broke up with him and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw myself into these books. I wanna be on my own. I wanna do my own thing. And I am wanting these desires and just to be more. And the first book I read was The Universe Has Your Back. And I believe the second one I read was You're a Badass. If you want me to make like a separate video about how I felt about all the books that I've read, let me know in the comments and I can do that. And so it really kick-started me into like, yeah, I can be whoever I want to be. These books taught me like, you know, how to write down your desires and feel them in the moment and be grateful for them. And then also surrender. It's like kind of the art of manifestation in a nutshell. And around January 2020, I wrote down an entire list of everything I wanted in life. And one of those things was I wanted a husband and a baby. So I wrote down the list of all the desires I wanted, like from career to money and all this kind of stuff. But then I made a separate list. I titled it My Soulmate, and I wrote 34 things on this list of what I wanted. And I'm not picky, so it's not like 34 like he has to have 6 toes. It's nothing like that. It's just like loyalty, trustworthy, like values kind of stuff, and some physical appearance stuff I did put on there. But I'm not like attached to this list. It's just something that I'm using as like a frame of reference. Like that's all I know at this point, but I know that there's like limitless possibilities of what my person could look like and what he could be like, but somewhere around this list of 34 things. I wrote out affirmations about finding my true love, like my king is here, he's presently with me, I'm so excited to be with him, he adores me, I adore him. Not only did I write like the 34 things in my soulmate list of like, these are the characteristics, these are the values that I want this person to have, it was also, I am going to speak presently like he is here and that I have him and be so grateful for him. So I'd be very tearful, feeling like, oh my God, my husband is here, like really excited now, presently. Even though spiritually, you know, he's here spiritually, but he's not here in physical form just yet. Men started coming out of the woodwork, like out of nowhere. It was like 5 people from my past, not anyone that I've dated, but people that I could have dated that we were kind of attracted to each other, but it never worked out. DMing me, ran into them. One of them, I ran into him at a Chipotle right before the pandemic started. I jumped his car. His friend was there trying to jump the car. His friend couldn't do it. I ended up going to Chipotle, buying my food, coming outside, and he was like, Aaron, like, can you jump my car? I've known this guy since I was in middle school. We went to middle school together. And it was just so random. I haven't seen this person in forever. He texted me that night and was like, Aaron, thank you so much for jumping my car. I really appreciate it. Great to see you. I was like, great to see you too. So then I was like, okay, you know, is this my manifestation working? Like, what is this? I was like, all right, I don't think I'm gonna text him because he didn't ask me out, so I don't wanna ask him out. My friend, a good friend of mine from Howard, she was like, no, if you're looking for a sign to go out with him, I am your sign. Go out with him. I was like, okay. So I invited him out. We went out to dinner and it was so nice. It was amazing. He was like, you look so beautiful and I want to do this again and blah, blah, blah. And like, I never heard from him again. I just never heard from him. So there were a lot of instances like that. Like I would be on Bumble, me and the guy, we would be cool, we would be texting, and then they would just fall off. It was just the weirdest thing. This one time I was at a basketball game, at a Hawks game right before the pandemic. I was sitting next to this guy, this gentleman, and he had a baby, like a 2-year-old baby with him. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. He's like 40 years old. We were just you know, casually talking because we're at the Hawks game and we're like in very close proximity to each other. And he was like, yeah, you know, I have another baby who's 8 months old with another woman. And it just came up that way. I was like, oh, that's cool, like whatever. But I could tell that he kind of liked me, We didn't exchange numbers, nothing. The next day I get an email from him on my work email. How did you find me? And so I'm thinking back, I'm like, did I tell him? So we did share where we both worked. And he knew, did he know my last name? I don't know how he found me. I must have said my name and I can't remember because they're actually my dad's seats. So maybe he knew my dad's last name and put two and two together. I don't know. Just like, yeah, like, I hope this isn't weird and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it is weird. You have 2 baby moms and you have an 8-month-old baby. I don't want to be a stepmom. I'm good. Nothing wrong with being a stepmom. That's just not the area I'm in right now. Around summer, fall 2020, I was so tired of these guys coming in and falling off, this and that. I started to say a prayer that if he's not for me, just let him fall off for no reason. And men were falling off. They were just falling off left and right. I got ghosted more and more times. I also was putting myself out there on Bumble and like Hinge and stuff like that, because when you manifest things, you can't just sit in your room and think that this guy is just gonna like walk through the door. You have to like put yourself out there. So I would put myself in situations where I could like potentially meet someone and like help the universe help me. And they would just fall off.
You really don't have to react. Don't try to change my mind, in fact.
I was just like, maybe I've lost my touch. Maybe I'm not desirable. I don't know. I just don't know what's happening. But then I remember, oh, like you're praying for this person. Like you're manifesting the person for you. So obviously the ones who aren't for you are gonna fall off and you've been asking them to fall off. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. It's just annoying. I don't know, they don't even like try to like date me. I'm like, I'm not asking for monogamy. I'm not asking for you to be my boyfriend or anything. I didn't even tell any of these guys that I'm trying to date for marriage, but I think maybe the vibe I give off is a more serious vibe, and that scares some people, which I've acknowledged, but if it scares you, then get the fuck out of here. So then sometime in 2020, I can't remember if it was spring, summer, fall, I can't remember. All these guys were falling off, blah, blah, blah. During this time, I can't remember where I was, nothing, but I know this happened. I asked for a sign. I learned this from The Universe Has Your Back. You ask the universe for a sign to make sure that you're going in the right direction. I said, if I find my person and once I'm with him, I will know because together we will see an eagle. And why I said eagle, I do not know. It was the first thing that came to mind. And The Universe Has Your Back is by Gabby Bernstein. She said, just pick the first thing that comes to your mind. Don't think too much about it. And I was just like, eagle, okay? That's very important to this now husband meeting story that I think is happening.
Try to change my mind, in fact.
It is January 2021. We are in full swing of the pandemic. We all hate our lives. There is a gentleman. We're going to call him Dr. Bob. He is my stepfather's best friend. They're not really best friends. They're like play cousins. They grew up together. So yeah, he's this prominent man in Atlanta. He like rubs shoulders with all the like cool, popular, famous people. Not famous, but like Atlanta who's to know people. And I'm not that way at all. And I literally don't care. He shows up to our house just randomly for no freaking reason. I walked in the house in January 2021 and here Dr. Bob is sitting in the living room. And I was like, it's such an ordeal to talk to him. He always wants to know everything about me. And I'm just like, Dr. Bob, please leave me alone. He was like, Aaron, are you still dating that guy? And the guy he's talking about is the guy from like 2 men ago. I was like, no. He's like, Aaron, I have someone that I want to introduce you to. I was like, who? He was like, my godson. We're going to name this godson Magnolia, because there's a magnolia tree right outside my house, and that's the first day that I saw, so we're gonna name him Magnolia. I was a little wary because I'm like, I don't want to date someone like you, so I don't know if I want to date your godson. I was like, okay, what does he look like? Dr. Bob starts texting Magnolia, hey, send me pictures of yourself. I was like, no, just tell him to send his Instagram. That's weird for him to send pictures of himself. Just tell me your Instagram. He's like, all right. Magnolia sent his Instagram. Lo and behold, he's a bodybuilder. And I was just like, guys, no judgment. Don't judge me, okay? This is just initial thoughts. There's nothing wrong with being a bodybuilder. It's a lot of dedication to live that life, and I'm not gonna be a bodybuilder, so maybe he needs to be with a bodybuilder person so they can like hang out. That's just what I was thinking in my mind. Dr. Bob was like, no, he's awesome, he's great, he wants a wife. And these guys, they say that they want a wife, until a wife type person shows up and they're like, whoa, I don't want a wife. And I'm like, that's okay, just don't lie. Me and Magnolia exchanged numbers, we were chatting. He was very eager to hang out, but my parents were not vaccinated at the time. Vaccines had just started. But he's like, he understood. We were chatting on the phone, we did a lot of FaceTime, and it was just boring. I promise it was boring. He mentioned that he's not a phone person, he's very much in-person person, and that's why he wanted to hang out face to face, but I was kind of like, no. So he was trying to like accommodate me. And the phone, it wasn't FaceTime, it wasn't anything. So I literally was just like, all right, here's another dead end. I don't suggest this because I think this is a little bit too specific, but I said, I'm gonna ask this guy what his favorite animal is. And if he says his favorite animal is a tiger, I'm going to continue talking to him. I think that was a little bit too specific. And I think I also was being a little bit like, I don't want to talk to him, so I just want any reason not to talk to him. So again, don't do that. It came and bit me in the ass because his favorite animal is a tiger. I was like, fuck. Continue to talk to him. I was just like, whatever, this guy. Then he planned for us to go walk the Beltline. And I was like, sure. And I think it was like a Sunday or Saturday. Let's say it was a Saturday in February 2021. And an hour before, he's like, hey, you ready to go? I was like, yeah. Didn't hear from him for 7 weeks. I was like, I got stood up again. Why do I keep getting stood up like for a year straight? Just not stood up, but just no follow through, no nothing. I'm so confused. It must be me. That's what I started thinking. I was like, the only common denominator is me. Or it's this prayer that I said, help let them fall off. So I just chucked it up to is either it's me or they're just falling off because it's not the person. Within those 7 weeks, maybe about 6 weeks later, so now it's about March 2021, Dr. Bob calls me. He's like, Aaron, what happened between you and Magnolia? And I was like, well, you know, he stood me up and I don't know. I'm really concerned that you're the one calling me and not him. Like, it's weird. I don't want to be in this 3-way love triangle with you and your godson. And he was like, you know, Aaron, the hour that you all were supposed to go on your walk, his father had a heart attack. And I was like, oh, that's horrible. However, even a week or two later, you could have told me his dad is fine. Nothing wrong with his father. Like, he lived, he's still alive. That's a very scary situation, but I feel like it didn't take you, like, it's still been all this time and you never told me and never like rescheduled. I don't mind the standing up, but maybe the next few days, the next couple weeks, the next 3, 4, 5 weeks, you could have told me. I was trying to be kind, but I was just telling Dr. Bob, like, I just don't think he's interested. And Dr. Bob was like, no, I've talked to him, he is interested. And I was like, well, if he is interested, he needs to call me, not you. Got off the phone, cool. Didn't hear from Magnolia still. Then, maybe a week after Dr. Bob had called me. Dr. Bob calls me again. I'm on my way home from work and he's like, hey, where are you? I was like, hey, I'm on my way home. And he was like, I have a book that I want to bring you. I was like, okay. Show up to my home. Magnolia is standing inside my house in my kitchen. I lived with my parents at the time. So my stepdad, my mom, my sister, me, Dr. Bob, and Magnolia are all standing in the kitchen staring at each other. It was the most awkward. I was like, why are you doing this? Why? We were just chatting and thank God my stepfather cannot shut up. He just continuously talks. So he brought Magnolia downstairs in the basement to show him all his like workout equipment because Magnolia is like buff. And so my stepdad was like, oh yeah, you know how to work out. Come show me how to work out. And so they were like talking, like, so thank God it was like some like relief there. And I was like, Dr. Bob, why did you bring Magnolia here? And he's like, you guys need to stop behaving in this way. Y'all just need to get to know each other. And I was just like, he needs to call. He needs to call me. Magnolia came back upstairs. My mom and my sister kind of ushered out Dr. Bob so that I could like talk to Magnolia. And I was like, hey, I think Dr. Bob, he likes us together more than you like the thought of us together. And that's okay. He was like, no, I am interested. I do want to share with you. I did not know I was coming here. He just said he needed to drop off something and he just ambushed me as well. He still didn't really know where he was until I walked in. I was like, well, why didn't you call? Why didn't you call? And he was like, I'll explain everything tomorrow. Can we meet at Dancing Goats, which is like this little coffee shop? I was like, sure. So we met there the next day and it was so weird. I put in my GPS. I was 3.3 miles away, arriving at 3:33 p.m. The weirdest thing. And I've already been like believing in signs and numbers and I had already been seeing all these type of things. So I was just like, okay, what does this mean? And I still wasn't excited because I was like, I've been turned down so many times. I arrived and I had actually written him a letter. It's just my love language, like giving gifts and like little, not like money gifts, but like little tokens. And I had said to myself, if I feel some kind of connection to this person, I am going to give him this letter. We started chatting and he said, oh, you don't want a coffee? I was like, oh, I don't like coffee. And he's like, oh, we could have gone somewhere else. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like, I just wanted to chat. Like, what's up? So I won't say exactly what he said. I did not like his explanation. The truth is, I think that he was dating someone else. I think he wanted to see what was going on with that relationship, which I'm completely fine with. I don't know you. I don't know you. You can date who you want to date. I think that was the truth, and I think that he was dancing around that. He did apologize for standing me up, and the conversation still was kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, I felt like it was just just doing this as a favor for Dr. Bob to see where it could go. But we had good banter. Actually, he has great humor. Like, our humor is the same, but I still feel like the conversation wasn't at the level that I thought it could be for me to like feel some kind of romantic something for this person. And he was like, Aaron, I like your hair. I was like, thank you. I was like, do you want to touch it? He was like, yeah. So he brings his dirty ass hand and goes like this. I said, no. You clearly have never dated anyone with curly hair. Or if you have, I don't know what's wrong with them. You go like this. This is how you touch curly hair. He was like, oh. And so I was like, you know, I like your tattoos. Can I see your tattoo? I was like, he was like, sure. So I grab his arm, turn his arm outward. Huge eagle tattoo. When I say huge, his entire, and his is like bigger than mine. His is like this big. Entire, what is this called? An eagle. Like an eagle, like flying in the sky. I literally look at it and I say, is that a fucking eagle? That's what I said verbatim. And he was like, yeah, tears. I had never seen such a strong sign before. I forgot I asked for the sign. So when I saw the eagle, I remembered like, oh, I asked for this. What is happening? And I also was like, there's no way this is the person, because I don't feel romantically connected to, like, I don't feel that. There's no way this is him. And I'm afraid. I was shocked to my core. And he ran inside to give me some tissues, which I thought was so nice. Because I wasn't like sobbing, but it was just like, what is happening? And then I start second guessing, like, oh no. Like, did I ask for an eagle? And I think also the guys that I date, I always get like the butterflies in the beginning, and I really liked it. I'm so excited, but it never worked out. So I'm open to not really liking the person in the beginning and then growing into something. But at the time, I hadn't had time to process that. But I just still didn't feel that thing between us. And you had just ghosted me, didn't talk to me for 7 weeks, stood me up, like all that. And then the conversation was cool, but I just thought you were a nice guy. I didn't feel that. So I think I was in denial. He was like, you need to tell me now what happened. And I was like, okay. I lied. I said, I asked the universe for an eagle. That means that I'm supposed to be talking to that person. I didn't say that he was my person and like my husband and like the one for me, you know, because I didn't want to freak him out. And he thought it was cool. He was like, okay, I think he's kind of like into that stuff a little bit too. I, of course, gave him the letter that I wrote, and he thought it was interesting. He was like, no one's ever written me a letter. So after that, guys, you would think this would be like the love story of all time. No, I broke up with him around my birthday. Not broke up, we never were together. We were just dating. Not to get too much into his business and put him out there, but I feel like I need more. I still feel some kind of clairvoyance, something that he is the guy, because all the signs point to him. Not because my mental brain thinks it is, because I feel like the universe is sharing with me that he is. But I don't know if I'm reading the signs right. I don't know if I'm interpreting things right. I don't know if my mind is playing tricks on me. If I'm seeing things that aren't there, I don't know. But we haven't spoken in a while. I don't feel lost without him. I don't feel sad without him. I am very much enjoying my alone time. Do I think we'll come back around? I don't know. You know, I feel like a lot of people share their love stories when it's like, oh, rosy and amazing and this and that. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I met my husband, but I don't know. As my love story continues, I don't know how it's gonna work or what's gonna happen, but I'm very open to what the universe has in store for me. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Guys, what's so funny, after I just filmed that video, I pulled out my
vision board, because sometimes I like to just sit with it while I meditate. There is a picture. I completely forgot that it was there. There's a flower on my vision board, and it's a magnolia flower. You know, I'm just like, am I making this shit up in my mind? Just weird little synchronicities. So strange.